Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. This is a podcast where we gently explore healing, spirituality, and what it means to be human. Friends, today I wanted to talk to you about proving, being in the energy of proving. When I first started my healing journey, I was in so much pain that I didn't want to be alive. And it's one of these things where it started in a way, in order to be here, in order to choose life, I had to get right with my insides because it was so painful. Friends, if you're new here, my name is Freda. I am a semi-trance voice channel. I am an energy healer. I am a lady who talks to trees. So at first, all of this was about just experiencing and finding inner peace. And then I found it. I experienced the expansiveness of the all that is. I experienced inner peace. And then I wanted more. What do you do when you arrive at peace? It just kept the goalpost kept moving. It was, oh, well, then I had these multisensory gifts open up. And then it's about practicing in the multisensory world. And ooh, what is that? And how can I learn from this and that? And it just opened and expanded and went deeper. And as I went deeper, it became more about softening into life, having compassion for myself, learning to fall in love with myself, self-love practice. Forgiveness, forgiving myself for all of the times that I self-abandoned, because boy howdy, I self-abandoned the majority of my life. So just learning to reparent myself, to love myself, inviting all of the pieces of myself home that shattered off during periods of time where I dishonored my truth, where I wasn't honest with who I am on the insides in order just to survive. So I get to this place where I am now able to sit with myself, the darkness and the light, sitting with myself and completely loving every aspect of myself completely. And what is it arrived at? Where has it left me? It has left me a person that's genuinely happy. For the most part, I wake up every day excited to be here. I am happy to be a human on earth and excited for what will the day bring. Somewhere along the lines, I decided, well, I can do all of this stuff, and I had a teacher implanted in my head that when you can do these things, have these multisensory gifts open up, the next step is opening a spiritual business, and that is yet the next deepening process. And I was right to believe, with the work that I'd done, that there was something more for me, because when you have all of these gifts and you have the ability to be happy, it's I want to shout it from the rooftop. I created the Healing Artist podcast to share it with you, to share this spiritual journey with you. And deep in my heart, I'm I want to be a spiritual teacher. This is what I want to do. And part of what I wanted to do on the podcast is show the not fully formed spiritual teacher. I can see that as the end point. I know where I'm going. But let's go on the vulnerable journey together of getting there. And the shedding process of shedding performance, shedding all of the different things. Still, what does having a spiritual business bring up? Because it brings up a myriad of more things than to deal with. And I just wanted to do it publicly because I honestly thought that would be helpful. We often see the fully formed guru and it's ooh, how'd you get there? Now, something interesting is I don't know if that end result and me seeing the people come along for the ride to see it or not happens in my lifetime, or if this is leaving this behind. That's a genuine question that I actually don't have an answer to, because I don't actually see the people coming. But at the same time, I know that the work is the legacy and what I am leaving behind is super important. So I do it. But I'm actually not sure. We'll see. That is the unfolding. I love a surprise. So even if the people are coming in my lifetime, the personality type that I am would have made the agreement to not know. Anyway, if I completely believed that I'm worthy and capable and talented and lovable, oh, Lordy Lou, that I'm on the right path, and doing all of this stuff, like I truly deeply embodied it, believed it, then I would not need to prove it. So there is still an energy residing within me that I am still proving to myself that I can do this, and I see it. I can see this. So the question underneath all of this is, what is enough? Like, here's a wonderful way to share this with you. Like, the beginning of the year, I put on my calendar, I made 100 podcast episodes my first season. That's 2 episodes a week. And I said, okay, this year, 2026, we're going to make 100 more podcast episodes. Again, that's 2 a week. And I wrote the numbers out on my calendar so that I could stick to the program and know when I'd need to record this or that. And those are just arbitrary numbers. I made them up. To do that rigid schedule of creating 2 podcasts a week, it's quite a bit of effort. It's quite a bit of work, especially since things have shifted in my home. And in 2024, all I was doing was working on my spiritual business, and the podcast was like an aspect of that. It's the quote unquote, the marketing aspect, is like showing my personality, sharing with the world, getting better at public speaking, and doing it openly. 2026, the reality has changed a little bit, and it is important that I also bring resources into the home. My business hasn't taken off in a way where that is coming from the business, so now I also pursue gig work and do all these other little hustles on the side. So it is not as easy to bring forward this kind of quantity of content the same way that it was before. And while I do it, and it is still a joy, and I learn so much from it, it's actually really one of my favorite things that I do, this and the morning meditation program I teach. Here we are in August, and it's a very, very busy month, and instead of taking the day off today, I'm working on proving, an episode about proving, because what am I trying to prove by sticking to this rigid schedule of, like, quite frankly, maybe it's Saturday, maybe Monday there isn't a podcast episode. Would that be okay? Of course it would be okay. No one would die. I'm like proving to myself that I have the perseverance, the tolerance, the skills, the stick-to-itness, the loyalty, all of the things that I am capable of sitting in the discomfort, the perseverance, and just doing it to adhere to the numbers that I originally put on my calendar. And to what end is honestly a question I often ask myself. So this I'm proving something here. And like, am I trying to prove to myself that I'm enough? And it's interesting because it's like, if I asked, am I enough? The answer is yes. Oh, Lord in heaven, yes. Yes, of course I'm enough. But then why do I push myself with these, let's just say we're going to use the podcast as an example. I push myself to adhere to these self-imposed deadlines, and no one cares if I have a new podcast on Monday. No one. Only me. Only me. Part of me has not received any external validation from this work, doing the podcast. I have a very small collection of people that will text me or reflect back to me or tell me that they listen. And they give me some feedback. I have 3 people that give me feedback about this program. Otherwise, I actually podcast in the dark. And a major part of why I did it was to get better at public speaking, to get better at interviewing. And I wondered to myself, at what point, at what ends, say at 200 episodes, will I be good at podcasting yet? And then the question is, the answer to all of this is I'm already good at podcasting. I already know that I can do this. So why is it important that I hold myself to this 200? Like when I meet the number 200 at the end of the year, will I even celebrate it, or will I just look for the next hill to climb? What am I trying to prove? And I do really wonder about that external validation aspect of it because I've never had it. I say to myself, I'm making this show for myself. I'm making this show to show my healing journey, to learn to be open and vulnerable. Like, I really challenge myself for a lot of reasons because I think, and I make it for me, everything I do is a self-portrait of sorts. And I think of myself when I was a little kid, 12 years old, sitting on the edge of my bed. I can see that bedroom in my mind's eye very vividly, sitting on the edge of the bed, and I am talking to myself because I wanted to kill myself. And I am now living a life where I'm actually genuinely happy, and I want to talk to that little girl. And that is what this is. So I say I want to be this spiritual teacher, and then I go, to who? Well, the people aren't there. They're not there now, at least. So I guess I go to myself. I am being a spiritual teacher to myself, for myself, showing up and proving to myself that I can do this. So what is the difference between proving and demonstrating? So demonstrating is showing, this is what I am capable of. Now let's see what happens. Okay, 80% of my life, I am demonstrating, okay? But there is still like 20% of my internal existence that is still in the proving energy. And that proving is, I need this to work so that I can finally believe this thing about myself. And this thing about myself is that I have the ability to create a life, a beautiful life for myself. So, like, what am I asking the outcome of 200 podcast episodes to give me? What is that going to prove to me? What I hope it proves to me with the whole spiritual business, the podcast, what I hope it proves to me is that I have the ability to build a life that belongs to me. Like, I spent the majority of my life just surviving and adapting and people pleasing and performing and like just trying to figure out how to survive in this world. And like, I make this podcast because then I'm like, I did it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm like, I did it. I'm happy. But the proving energy then shows up and they say, well, then where are your listeners? Where are the people? And I say to myself, I did it. I changed my life. Look what I did. I changed my life. I say, look at my gifts. Look what I learned how to do. Isn't this amazing? Look at me choosing myself. I am not abandoning myself anymore. You see? And then my friend Margaret sometimes says, that was a good interview. Or there's someone I met that texts me every once in a while and they say, wow, you made me think about something with that. And then my sister is my biggest fan. My sister always listens. So your girl is creating 200 podcast episodes in a vacuum. Man, oh man. Yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of this is demonstrating, and yet that proving is still in there. And like, oh. The proving aspect of it is because the people aren't there. The proving aspect of it is, it's like, I've created this life that I absolutely adore. I have an amazing life. I'm genuinely happy. But it has not shown up in my 3D reality in a way where it supports me as a living. The 5 years before that, where I literally did nothing for the most part except my healing work, I took a little bit of gigs here and there. I worked for a florist. But for the most part, I did me. All I did was inner work. All I did. It's like going to grad school, but the grad school is self-obsession and inner work. And sometimes I think, what the hell was all of this for? What did I do all of this for? If there is no external reality that doesn't show up. And that is so patriarchal encodement. It is so America. Like, but I really just, without that visible success, my part of my inner self is still saying, was all this healing work worth it? Was it all worth it? And when I channel, the channel is always about, we do not do this to get. In America, we say we do all of this to get. And my channel says, can you shift your perspective to understand you did all of this to give? And my channel tells me that I have done everything I have done in the public eye, not for external validation, but to learn how to validate myself and to quit self-abandoning and to learn to show up for myself completely and to question why I do everything I do. Some people have lifetimes where they are like other focused, and this lifetime for me is really, really just about the inner work. And the way I self-abandon is I externalize. I give. I am so generous. I am an incredibly generous person. To know me is to get a lot. Super generous. Time, energy, attention. I will help you if we are friends. And I overgive. And there is still something in that overgive of that desire for recognition, to have something be reflected back towards me, to understand that people see me and understand the work that I've done and understand, and so I get credit for like how much freaking work I've done. I've had an episode before where I said, where's the trophy? Where's the trophy? America says we're going to get a trophy. And the hilarious part of all of that is like, I have a trophy. I used to fucking want to die. I spent like the majority of my life not wanting to be here. And I am happy. I'm like a happy person. What else do I want? What else do I want? Like, oh, well, I want this material wealth and don't have to worry about money and the mortgage is paid. Who wants that? I live in a beautiful home in the Bay Area. And to live in this beautiful home in the Bay Area, the number that is necessary is stupid. And the little 12-year-old girl sitting on the side of the bed just wants to go live in the woods and play by the stream with the fairies and talk to the trees. And I have created a life that requires a great deal of financial resources to maintain. And for me to get really, really, really honest with my insides, that's actually not what I would choose if I chose my life from a healed place. I would not choose what I have tied myself to. So something about proving that's really interesting is like proving can keep us from receiving. Because proving is just giving us this energy. It's saying, watch me. And receiving is sort of like coming from this place that's like, says, I'm available. So proving is more active and receiving is more being in allowance. Oh, you guys. I was on the right track with the receiving energy. I was on the right track with using my coming on and really working with demonstrating as opposed to proving. But God damn it, I'm telling you that proving energy is still there. There's a small piece here. I'm still working with it. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about proving because it's just like, it's very real. I'm being incredibly honest with you. This is the journey, this is the work, and it is where I'm at right now. So what if I stop proving that I am worthy of this life that I want, and just start living through this lens of already being enough, already having enough. There is enough. What if I don't have to be or prove that I am successful at business? What if I don't have to be successful at business? My dream life that I envision for myself, it's sort of like, it's very communal in nature. And if there was no money at all, if there was no like paper dollars, or, tapping of a plastic card, my wealth is extraordinary because I have so many skills. Like if we were in a trade economy, I am a billionaire. My skills are off the charts. They just don't look like the things that we pay people to do in America. But like, I'm great, man. And like, what am I doing in this life that I've chosen that, like, it's not the truth. It's not truly who I am. So what am I trying to prove? You guys, I don't have answers for you today. Yeah, I don't have any answers. I'm just musing. So what is that proving? Working on it. I am deeply working on it. We are in eclipse season. It's where I'm at. All right, friends. Are there any areas where you're proving something in your life? Are you proving it to other people? Are you proving it to yourself? Do you understand the difference between the proving energy and the demonstrating energy? What are your thoughts on this? You can share them in the comments below. You can reach out to me through my website, fredahealing.com. Come on over to my website and you can check out what I have offered there. I have private sessions. I have 30-minute, 1 hour, and 90-minute private sessions. I have donation-based Elizabeth channeling sessions. And I also have my morning meditation community, Return to Self-Love. If you want to develop a spiritual practice for yourself, Return to Self-Love is a fantastic place to do that. I will help you discover and deepen your connection to you. All right, friends. Whew, I am in the thick of it. We are in eclipse season, you know. And I'm here for it. I love a challenge. Proving to myself. Demonstrating? Proving? That I am willing to show up, and let's find out how it all unfolds. All right, friends, I love you. God, universe, source loves you. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.